In this video, we'll be working on 6 different rational inequalities or absolute value inequalities that we need to solve. Now, the first 3 are the same concept where we have one absolute value that we need to work on. Number 4, it looks like a polynomial with an absolute value. Number 5, we have 2 different absolute values. And number 6, it's a rational function within an absolute value. So we have 6 different problems that we would like to go over. The first 3 are similar. 4, 5, and 6 are different, and that's why they are all grouped in different colors depending on the type of absolute value. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. In number 1, the absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 4. That means if I split it into the 2 different inequalities like I'm used with equations, then x is greater than or equal to 4, but when I multiply it by a negative, the inequality shifts, so it becomes x is less than or equal to negative 4. So if I want to show it on the number line, and I put down the 2 numbers I just got, then my solution is going to be from 4 all the way to infinity, and then from negative 4 all the way to negative infinity. So then my solution is going to be from negative 4 to from negative infinity to negative 4 inclusive, and then from 4 to infinity, where 4 is included as well. So that's number 1. It's a simple, straightforward absolute value inequality. Now let's move on to number 2. Again, it's a simple, straightforward inequality to see what do we do if we have an absolute value less than a number. Now again, we split it into 2 different inequalities. X is less than 3, and when I multiply it by a negative, it becomes x is greater than negative 3. Now remember, every time it's less than, you can simply put it in one inequality and say negative 3 is less than x, which is less than 3. Now if you want to show that on the number line, if these are my 2 numbers that I got, if x is less than 3, it means I'm interested in this part that's less than 3, and x is greater than negative 3, so my solution is going to be between those 2 numbers. Then it's going to be from negative 3 to 3, where none of those numbers are included. So this is how I write such a solution, and this is how I write something like number 1. So remember, if it's greater than a number, then it's greater than 4 and less than negative 4. If it is less than 3, then it's going to be between negative 3 and 3. So keep that in mind every time it's greater than, then we have 2 different inequalities. If it is less than, then we have, again, 2 different inequalities, but can be grouped into one because it's going to be between 2 numbers, okay? Now let's move on to number 3. So for absolute value of x plus 3 greater than 8. Now it's still one absolute value that I need to isolate, so I divide both sides by 4. So x plus 3, the absolute value of x plus 3 is greater than 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So since it's a greater than, then I will have 2 different inequalities. One of them is going to be x plus 3 greater than 2, and then x plus 3 less than negative 2. Since I multiplied by a negative, the inequality shifts. Then my first inequality is going to be x greater than negative 1, and the second one is going to be x then less than negative 5. I don't really need to represent it on a number line, but if you think that will help you write down the solution in interval notation, you may. So x less than negative 5, and x greater than negative 1. So then my interval notation is going to be from negative infinity to negative 5, not included, and then from negative 1 to infinity included. So the first 3 questions have been straightforward absolute value inequalities. I do not need to do a number line for those because once I find the inequalities, then I can simply write my interval notation. Now let's move on to number 4. Where I have something similar to the polynomial inequality. So in this case, I have x times the absolute value of x plus 3. So step number 1 is find what makes each one of those zeros, since these two factors are multiplied. So x equals 0 and x equals -3. Step number 2, let's put them on the number line. Now I need to find the sign pattern to help me decide what part of this number 9 would give me my negative values, because I want something that would be less than 0, so I want all of the negative values. So take a number less than -3. Let's say -4. So if I take -4, if x is -4, that's a negative. And -4 plus 3 is -1, but remember, it's the absolute value of that. So the absolute value, no matter what, is always going to be positive. Negative times positive, that's a negative, so that's negative. Take a number between -3 and 0, let's say -1, and let's try it. If x is negative, so negative, the absolute value will always be positive, so negative times positive, that's negative. Take a number above 0, for example 2, so that's going to give me positive. The absolute value is always positive, so positive times positive is positive. Now remember, I do not need the roots, so then remember to put open circle at the x-intercepts. I need the part of the number line that would give me the negative value, so I need this part and this part. I am not including my x-intercept, so that's why I need to split my inequality over here. So then the solution for something like that would be from -∞ to -3 not included, and then from -3 to 0 not included. Now remember, because the x-intercept is not included, that's why I had to split, but if this were to be less than or equal to 0, then my solution would be from -∞ to 0. But because it's only less than 0, I have to split at the x-intercept that is not included. Now let's move on to number 5. In number 5, I have 3 absolute value of x minus 2 minus 8 less than or equal to absolute value of x minus 2. Now at first sight, this might look extremely complicated, but hold on. Absolute value of x minus 2, absolute value of x minus 2, they are exactly the same thing. So how about I move them over and combine them? I can do that. So let's do that. 3 absolute value of x minus 2, move over the absolute value of x minus 2 by subtracting it, and move the -8 to the other side. So now think about it. 3 times something minus 1 times the same thing. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So I was able to combine those two absolute values because they are exactly the same number. So less than or equal to 8, so this now looks more like number 3, the one that we did earlier. So if you divide by 2, you get absolute value of x minus 2 less than or equal to 4. So because it is less than, then my absolute value is going to be between two numbers, and it's going to be between -4 and 4. So if I want to get the x by itself, I'm going to add 2 to every single side to get the x by itself. -4 plus 2 is -2, and 4 plus 2 is 6, and there you go. That's my solution, from -2 to 6. Now, if you feel more comfortable putting that on the number line and seeing where the solution would be, then definitely you can do that. These are included, and you need everything between them. That would work. Okay? So now let's move on to number 6. In number 6, we have a rational function, so x plus 4 over x minus 7. So it's a rational one inside an absolute value. So again, we do exactly like we did with the absolute value or the rational in the previous lesson. What will make my numerator equal to 0? So what is my x-intercept? It is -4. What is the vertical asymptote? X equals 7. In this case, I don't have a whole because there is no factor that is canceled. Now, if I put those on the number line, so at -4, that's your x-intercept, and you want to include the x-intercept, so it's going to be a closed circle. And then at the 7, remember to put a dotted line, so you remember that you don't want to include that solution in that number in your solution ever, because it's the vertical asymptote. It does not work. Now remember, now hold on. Before you start taking numbers and plugging them in to see if it's negative or not, let's take a minute and look at this inequality. Absolute value less than or equal to 0. When is that possible? When is the absolute value ever less than 0? When is the absolute value ever negative? Never. So the absolute value is never less than 0. So there's no solution for something like that. But in here, the absolute value is less than or equal to 0. So the absolute value can never be negative, can never be less than 0, but it can be equal to 0. So basically, the only solution for such a problem is going to be your x-intercept, which is -4. So I only have one possible solution for this problem, which is -4. So remember, the absolute value, if it's less than 0, that is no solution. If it's less than or equal to 0, then the solution is only the x-intercept. If it's greater than 0, then that means it is always possible except at the x-intercept. If it's greater than or equal to 0, then it is always possible, so all real solutions. So make sure if you have something like that to pay attention, that the absolute value can never be equal to 0, but it can never be less than 0, so it can never be negative, but it can be equal to 0, and the only solution would be your x-intercept.